Sunday. It's great to see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Last week, I kind of started something a little crazy. I did two shows about cooking. One was me making Jamaican corned beef and cabbage. And then on Sunday, I did another video on how to use ginger to make juice or drink. Very, very healthy. But this week, I am doing something a little bit different that I hope you will find enjoyable. So right now, let me log into my phone. Today, I wanted to do a video that focused more on health. And for me, the ketogenic lifestyle isn't just about losing weight, but I really went through an incredible transformation between 2018 and 2019. I didn't even do keto for a super, super long time, probably about 8 months or so. But during that time, I had such great results that I really want to go back to this lifestyle. So, last year, at the beginning of the year, when I went to my annual doctor's appointment, I got some pretty bad numbers back, particularly with regards to my A1C levels. They were, if I remember correctly, probably about 6.9 or something crazy, which meant that I was diabetic, or like right there knocking at the door. Diabetes runs in both sides of my family, both sets of my grandparents, both of my parents have diabetes, and many other family members. So that is one club I do not intend on joining. So getting those numbers back was really a wake-up call for me, and I just decided I have to do something. So I've been hearing about keto for a long time, and I decided probably that was going to be the lifestyle that could work best for me because of what keto offers. And so I decided to do keto. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know much about it when I started, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And to be very honest, I went through a lot of garbage shows before I found Thomas DeLauer on YouTube, and he's kind of the guru, health and fitness and keto and fasting. And I really, really like him because of the fact that he is so focused on the science. So for me, hearing and understanding helps to motivate me to do the right thing. So I watched hours and hours of Thomas DeLauer videos on YouTube to kind of get an understanding of what this keto lifestyle is. So what I have done now is just gone ahead and put together a lot of the things that I've been learning from Thomas and what I did last year. Because the thing about keto is you have to adapt it to your own lifestyle. So you're going to see lots of keto products out there. Everything is being marketed for keto, but it might not work for you. So I just wanted to keep it simple. I needed something simple that I could do whether I was at home or traveling. If many of you know me, you know that I travel a lot, or previously traveled a lot, particularly for work. So keto is a fantastic lifestyle. It is definitely something that is doable, even for busy people, even for people who work a lot or weigh a lot. It's just very possible. So last year, at my highest weight, it was just awful. I was feeling sluggish. I was lethargic. I couldn't focus, just having lots of challenges, not just with the weight, with my A1C being so high, knocking on the door of diabetes. I knew I had to do something drastic. So keto was the lifestyle that I chose. And really within about, I would say 2.5 months or so, I probably lost my first 30 pounds. So it's not something that took a whole heck of a long time to see differences. So I want to show you guys and talk a little bit about the science behind keto and how I lost that 36 pounds. Now, let me also confess, and in true Bridget fashion, I'm going to be very, very transparent. After, I would say, November, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and then jumping right into COVID, I went back into a lot of the bad habits that I had before keto. So even though I lost a total of 36 pounds, I've regained about 15. So still a net loss of 22 pounds, but I do not want to continue the trend. So I'm getting myself back together, okay? And I hope that you will join me. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoy this program and you learn a little bit about it. If you're joining in at a later point in the show, I will be able to upload this to my YouTube channel so that you can watch it later. Okay, so you've probably heard a lot about keto, but what is keto? So keto is basically, the idea is to limit your carbs so that your body begins to use fats as its main source of fuels. Right now, most of us, our bodies run on carbs, and that's what we've been taught. But keto helps us to limit our carbs so that instead of being carb burners, we become fat burners. Imagine, what did humans use as source of energy before carbs were introduced 100 years ago? Yeah, it was fats. So that's how we were built to run on fats. But with the introduction of carbs, our body started using carbs as its primary fuel. So the big idea behind keto is that you are once again changing your body from using carbs as its main source of fuel to using fats. So how did the name keto come about? Well, keto is short for ketones. Okay, and our liver is what actually produces ketones. And our liver does this when there are no carbs available to burn. So if you want to be in ketosis, meaning that your body is functioning based off of fats as opposed to carbs, you need to help your liver to produce ketones. That's how you go into a nutritional state of ketosis, and you are actually using you're in the keto lifestyle. So the most important organ for keto is the liver. If you are watching and you have questions, definitely drop me questions or comments in the box and in the comment box below, and I will go ahead and respond to them as I see them. But the big idea for keto is we want to go away from being carb burners to being fat burners. In Jamaica, there is a saying, you better live off of your fat. And it's true. We can literally live off of our fat. And the nice thing about keto is that when you are in ketosis, your body burns its own fat. And so you literally start to see yourself shrinking. After, when I was at my lowest weight in keto, literally you could see my neck was defined. You could see I put on a little bit more weight, but things like these little pockets of fat here, those things all disappeared. So I'm looking forward to making those things disappear again. The other thing is, while I was on keto, I wasn't exercising at all. So imagine if I actually was maintaining my ketogenic lifestyle and exercising, my results would have been even better than 36 pounds. But, I did travel quite a bit last year. But even when I traveled, I did pretty well. It wasn't until this year that I really reverted back into carbs. And carbs, once you're eating carbs, it is really hard to break it, because sugar, it's super addicting. And man, I went in on the sugar all out. Oh my God, it was crazy. So I know that I have to change and to go back to what worked for me, because this obviously worked. So I am ready to lose another 40 pounds. And this is a journey that I will document. And I hope that you come along for the ride. So my children, surprisingly, I have a son and a daughter, ages 17 and 15 respectively. They are also joining me in this keto lifestyle. So money works for them to keep them motivated. So I said, okay, whoever, every week, every Sunday during this time, we're going to measure our ketone levels. And whoever has the most ketones is going to win $50. So mom can win, kids can win, and maybe even dad. So my husband, he is in a low carb lifestyle, and he's maintained that for probably about 2 years. He's very good about stuff like that, but he's actually not in ketosis. And I will talk a little bit about the difference between low carb versus keto. So what are the benefits of keto? So we know the big picture of keto is that you are turning your body from a carb burner to a fat burner by drastically reducing the amount of carbs you intake and increasing the amounts of fats you intake. So what are the benefits? Number one, keto was really discovered when as a treatment for Alzheimer's. I'm sorry, not Alzheimer's, epilepsy. So people that have epilepsy and other neurological disorders are often placed on a ketogenic diet because it has such an amazing benefits for cognition. So there are significant increased cognitive benefits when you are on a keto diet. Like I said, last year, I have never felt so good about, just physically and mentally. I just showed up. And that was because I got rid of all the carbs, the fog, the mental fog that I was experiencing, all of that went away. So it's just an amazing, amazing lifestyle. So things like epilepsy, Alzheimer's, and other brain conditions, this is actually a great treatment for those conditions. So number one benefit, increased cognitive function. Number two, endurance. You're able to go more because you know how carbs work. You get on a high and then you crash. That doesn't happen with a ketogenic lifestyle. The reason is that keto helps to stabilize your blood sugar and lower insulin. So you're not at up and down, up and down, up and down. You're not experiencing crashes and things like that because you are much, much more stable. So you're able to have longer endurance. Of course, you are definitely going to see body composition changes. Let me see. I think I see a couple questions coming in. Remember, if you have questions or comments, definitely go ahead and drop them. Hey, Miss Avril, nice to see you. Hey, Samori. Hey, Natasha. She says keto definitely works. Miss Daphne's on. It's nice to see you guys. But there's so many benefits. So, of course, the big one that people like is the body composition. So if your body, through the ketosis process, is using ketones to burn your own fat, you are actually burning the fat that's in your body. So you're not losing muscles, you're not losing just water weight, you're actually losing fat. So your body's going to look tremendously different. So even though on the scale, I lost 36 pounds, my clothes told a whole different stories. I dropped 2 dress sizes. Okay, so it definitely works. And this was within a 3-month period. And I was able to pretty much maintain that up until the present time. So it is definitely something to look into. So you're going to see weight loss. You're going to have stabilizing of your blood sugar, lowering your insulin levels. You're going to feel much, much more energized. And this is what is drawing me back into the keto lifestyle, because I remember how good I felt physically and mentally. I can't say enough about the mental clarity, because my blood sugar was so high before. I would get these horrible headaches last year and the year before, and I had a lot of mental fog. And the kind of work that I do, it's high mental processing anyway. So it was just a bad situation. So with the keto diet and reducing my blood sugar levels really help me to be able to focus, to be energized, and it's just great. Remember, yes, one of my prime motivators is to lose weight, but my primary motivator of what's getting me going again with this is I do not want diabetes. I refuse it in the name of Jesus, and I'm doing everything I can not to get diabetes. Hereditary is against me. Both my grandparents, both sides, both my parents. So I am a prime candidate for it. So this is the reason why I'm doing keto. The weight loss is fantastic too, but my primary motivation is I do not want to get diabetes. So one of the things, if you are considering keto, you need to ask yourself, besides the weight loss benefits, why are you interested in doing this? What is the big value of you doing keto? Because that's what's going to help keep you focused on this process. Yes, Allison, Corona snacks are absolutely no joke. But if you hang with me for a little bit, I am actually going to take you into my pantry. I just dropped almost $500 cleaning out my pantry, restocking for keto. And don't worry, you don't have to go all out like I did, but I am that kind of a person. I am either all in or nothing. So I literally changed out my entire kitchen and so forth. But keto does not have to be expensive, and I'll talk about that as well. What is keto not? Keto is not just a low-carb diet. Remember, the point of keto is to get your liver to produce ketones so that you're in a nutritional state of ketosis. A low-carb diet, it doesn't reduce your carbs so low or introduce fats so much so that you're producing ketones. So you're kind of in like a little gray area where you have reduced your ketones, your carb levels, but that's still not enough to get you to produce ketones. So you're never really over the hump. So if you do that, you may experience symptoms of tiredness or fatigue and lack of energy and things like that, because now you've reduced your primary fuel source and you haven't replaced it with something else. It's also not paleo because paleo has fruits and things like that. You can eat certain fruits in keto, but for the most part, it's just berries, nothing else. And I'll get into that as well. Keto is also not just animal protein. So I've seen people thinking that keto is all bacon and eggs. You could eat all kinds of junk and crap and all that. And that's really not effective. Vegetarians can certainly do keto because it's not just about the proteins. In fact, it is more about the fats than anything else. And that's one thing I learned last year about keto. It really is about the fats. And I'll kind of get into the ratios of what is important in a minute. Keto is definitely, I think, sustainable. Yes, it is definitely more challenging when you travel. But let me tell you what I do when I travel. I allow myself to eat. So for example, my biggest temptation last year was when I was in Jamaica. Now, y'all know I'm from Jamaica and y'all know I love my Jamaican food. You know, I love mangoes, and I went to town, but I was still checking my keto level, my ketones when I was there. And when I came back, I literally just jumped right back in. So even if you mess up for a short time, it doesn't mean you can't jump back in. I just had to drastically reduce my carbs, get more water in, get more fats in, and I was back into ketosis. So even if you travel, do the best that you can. Don't go crazy, because remember, you're playing around with your system. And if you take out the bad stuff and then you start putting them back in, you're going to kind of revert. But keto, it allows that level of flexibility. So the big thing, this is so exciting. The big thing about keto is getting to a place where you are fat adapted. This is when, if you have been on keto for a period of time, your body gets so used to using fat as its main fuel source that your body now becomes fat adapted. It probably takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get fat adapted. So you don't even really have to be on keto forever. But being fat adapted means that your body prefers to use fats as its main source of fuel when fats are available. And the nice thing is, when your body's fat adapted, it can kind of choose how best to process other fuel source that comes into contact. So it will use ketones to process what's best with ketones, fats for processing what's best with fats, and some level of glucose that we still have through carbs. Those get processed in a way that's more efficient. So when you're fat adapted, uh, fat is the main source of fuel your body uses, but it's also more efficient at using other energy sources such as proteins and glucose. So this is my goal. I want to get back to being fat adapted so that when I do have periods of travel, my body still prefers to use fats as its main fuel source. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks. For me, I actually get into ketosis rather quickly. I'm really grateful for that. Probably part of it is just my body makeup. But at the same time, some people, it might take them a week, 2 weeks, or whatnot. I usually get into ketosis within a couple days. But it's just something worth trying. The benefits are so amazing. So let's talk a little bit about preparing for keto. So you've heard a lot of this information. If it's something you're serious about, hang with me and I'll keep telling you about how to actually prepare yourself for it. So for me, I've been preparing for this mentally for about 2 weeks or more. Um, faith comes by hearing, and hearing comes by the word of God. But that spiritual principle is also applicable to things outside of the spiritual realm. So for me, I listen to beginner keto, intermediate, advanced. I've been listening over and over to the benefits of keto, how to get started, all of this, even though I already know the stuff. But I need to get mentally prepared so that tomorrow, when our program starts, I am ready mentally and I am ready to go. That's why I dropped all that money to change out my pantry and spent all weekend annoying everyone in my house with cleaning out the pantry and the refrigerator, getting ready for keto. So that is the number one thing. You have to be mentally ready for it. If you're not mentally ready, you're going to do it for a week and then you're going to stop. You might even only do it for 3 days. So number one, get mentally ready, meaning you need to be consuming keto-focused information. My recommendation is Thomas DeLauer on YouTube. It's free information. Just go on YouTube or Google and search for Thomas DeLauer Keto. He has so much information. As a matter of fact, the majority of this information, it's all from Thomas. And of course, I'm interjecting some of the things that I've learned personally. So binge on Tom DeLauer. Number two, you have to clean out your pantry and your refrigerator. There is no sense in getting started and you have the old stuff that's still trying to pull you in, and it's just not going to be effective. So make sure that you take out the old and you put in things that are going to be helpful for you. Right now on my chair, I have like 4 bags of groceries that I have taken out that I will donate to Helping Hands, because I'm not going to use those things anymore. I don't like wasting, so I didn't throw much out. I'd rather give it to someone else who might use it. So you got to clean out your pantry. And number 3, I think this is a fantastic time to start keto because you are in a controlled environment. Like I said, some people have a very active lifestyle or jobs that require them to travel, such as my own. So this is a great time. I am home. I've never been home this much in all the 6 years that we have lived in this house. So I am much more in control of what I put in my mouth. I'm not eating out every day. I don't have to do those things because I'm pretty much home. So that's going to be very important. The first 1 to 2 weeks in keto are the most important to set you up for success. So when you're preparing, make sure you're in a time period where you can actually be in control of your food situation. For me, also preparation means really having tools available to hold me accountable. So I'm starting. So like I said, one of the things to hold me accountable is I'm having a competition with my kids. So at the end of every week, we are going to check our ketone levels, and whoever has the highest ketone level, that person's going to literally win $50. So that's a motivator to keep going. So that's one thing. You can have contests if you have a group of people or in your own household. So let me show you some of the tools that will be key. This right here. Hey, everyone. Hey, Robin. Hey, Nikki. You're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Nikki. Nikki, I will not be seeing you so much because I'm going back on keto and I'm trying to get my sexy on, all right, for the summer. Summer's coming. Hey, Duran. Hey, Miss Lourdes. Hey, Miss Dawn. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, neighbor. Hey, Ellie. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so this, let me move out a little bit. If you guys can see it, is my scale. This thing right here is my biggest accountability partner, okay? It's called Renpho, Renpho. You can get it on Amazon for $20, okay? $20. This is a digital scale, and it reads your body composition and everything. So let me pop into, it has an app. Let me go on my phone here and tell you what's in that app. So there is an app. It's connected by Bluetooth to your scale. Remember, $20. That's all it costs on Amazon. It will tell you how much weight you've lost, how much body fat percentage you've lost, how much BMI you've lost. It tracks your water level, muscle mass, how much protein, visceral fat, which is the bad fat that usually surrounds the arteries, and subcutaneous fat. So it will tell you if you're dehydrated. And water is a very, very important part of this whole ketosis equation. It tells you your metabolic age. So since January 9th, I have not weighed myself. I have been terrified to weigh myself, and I haven't weighed myself until I think 2 days ago. And that's when I discovered I was up 15 pounds. So that was startling in of itself. But this is what the app looks like. My ring light, it's not allowing me to show you guys exactly how it looks. But that's kind of what it looks like. So that was my low weight. But I love this scale. And in fact, in Jamaica, we would say this scale is a dirty gal, because when you gain weight, it will ask you, hello, is this the same person stepping on the scale? Yes, this scale will say things like that, okay? So when I went on the scale, it was like, one at a time. No, it didn't say that. But the scale is just great because you can literally track and see how much body fat. So I lost like 10% of my body fat. I'm not sure if on this streaming, if you're seeing me and you're seeing my picture. So if you look at me where I was in November 2018, that was me in Peru. You can see my body there, and I'm literally in the same outfit. I didn't plan it. But I was in Ecuador in November 2019 of last year. And you can see it's not just the weight that I lost, but the inches. So these are some of the results of what keto does. And I really like the scale because it helps you to track. So I can go back into that app and it will show me my progression. And of course, I like to see the progression going down. So that's one of the tools I use. It's also a good idea to get a food scale. So just because you're on keto doesn't mean you eat everything. There's a lot you can eat on keto. Honestly, for me, the keto is not that hard. Once you cut out the carbs and your carb cravings are gone, usually within the first week or two, your cravings are gone. It is so easy. pardon me for my vegetarian friends, but who doesn't like meat? You could cook meat, you could eat it, you could do whatever you want and just throw some veggies there and add in your fats. That's it. It's pretty simple, but you need to be conscious of how many calories you're taking in. So you might be in a state of ketosis and you're producing ketones, but if you don't lower your caloric intake, you're still going to gain weight or not lose weight. So you really have to measure what you eat. So the other tool that I use is MyFitnessPal. Okay. There is a free version and a paid version. I paid for the yearly subscription because it offers some extra features, but the free one is just as good. The free one will help you set up your macros. It will track all of the foods and tell you how much fats you've eaten, how much carbs, how much proteins, and things like that. That's going to be what I help you guys set up for next week. This week, I just want to give you the big idea of keto. Next week, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So if you really want to get into this keto lifestyle, you can use this week as a preparation week. Start watching the videos, rewatch this video, get the tools that you need. So come next Sunday, I can help you set up your macros and, give you an idea of how much calories you should be at per day and things like that. So next week will be part 2. Another thing about keto is, well, how do you know if you're in ketosis? Well, you can go to any CVS. This is not any special brand. You just literally go and ask them, where can I get ketone strips? These are pea sticks, okay? Literally, it's a little stick right here at the end of it. Again, the light is too bright, so you're not really going to see it. Brianna, can you adjust the light for me? So this is the pea stick at the end of it right here. It's a little box. It's still hard to see because it's so bright in here. Try putting your hand behind it. No, that didn't work. But anyway, it's a little pea stick. You pee on the stick and it shows you a color. And the lighter the color means you're not in ketosis. So right now, if I peed on the stick, I don't think I have any ketones in my body at this moment, which is terrible. But the point is, you want to move from the light all the way down to the dark red, dark purple. That means that your body is producing ketones. This works for the first 2 weeks. Okay, guys, it works for the first 2 weeks because your body is showing that it's actually producing ketones. But once your body becomes efficient at using the ketones, then you might start seeing your pea stick, the color gets lighter. And that doesn't mean you're not in ketosis. It just means your body is more efficient at utilizing the ketones. Hey, Natalie, one of my keto girls. That's awesome. Keto for life. Yes. Oh, Robin, I feel you. It's like the freshman 15 or the Corona 15, I should say. So the pea stick, they will work in the beginning. So right now, I'm not going to waste my keto mojo. Here is my favorite keto tool. So some of you might be a little freaked out about this, but I love using this. So this is my favorite keto product. It's called Keto Mojo. Can you see? Okay. It's a little, this is how I test myself. This is something that diabetics probably use. You probably hear people talk about pricking their fingers and things like that. Yes, I do. So this is my keto meter. This is an alcohol pad. I just bought, a box of 100. And basically I take it, and I'll do more of this next week, because next week you're going to see me competing against my kids. We're all going to prick our fingers and measure our ketone levels to see who's in the house is going to win $50. Okay. So you just clean off your finger here. Okay. So y'all gonna make me do a little prick. I'll show you that I am literally not in ketosis right now. So this is the little prick thing. And I am going to test my ketone levels here right now. So there are two things in here. This one tests my blood glucose level. I'll test both. And this one tests my ketone level. So I'm going to do both to see where I am at as a starting point. I know they're going to be bad. I know they're going to be terrible. I personally prefer to test in the mornings. I prefer to weigh in the mornings, and I prefer to test in the mornings just to have a one time a day where I know my numbers are the same and I can really keep things consistent. So let me test my blood glucose first. And yeah, it feels kind of weird, but if you have a tattoo, I don't want to hear, oh, it's going to hurt. Okay. It doesn't hurt that much. It's one little prick. And also, if you prick more towards not the front of your finger, but more towards the side, there's less nerves, so it doesn't hurt at all. I mean, to me, it's not really painful. So I'm going to go ahead and do my little prick. Squeeze out a little blood, okay? And then I'm going to put, so it's going to read this counting down, and it's going to tell me what my blood glucose level is. Wow, surprisingly, it's 90. That is a miracle because less than 100 is good. So maybe I didn't really eat that much today. As a matter of fact, I ate jerk chicken, some grilled salmon, and some baby potatoes. So I didn't eat a whole lot of carbs. So my blood sugar is pretty stable, which is completely shocking to me. The next thing I'm going to test, which will make me cry because I know I'm not in ketosis, I am going to test my ketone levels. And I check mine every day. I won't use this because I know it's going to take me about a couple days to a week to get into ketosis. So here I am. So it's doing a countdown, and it's going to tell me my blood glucose level. See, it says low. It means like you're not in ketosis, which I already knew. So next week, on Sunday evening, when we test our ketone levels, hopefully that story will be different. So this is my favorite meter because I am not only keeping track of my blood glucose level, but I'm also keeping track of my ketone levels to see if I'm actually in ketosis. Because if you're in ketosis, it means that your body is going to be burning its own fat. Like your body is going to make yourself lose weight, which is fantastic. Someone asked, are you pre-diabetic? I was pre-diabetic. That was my motivating reason for doing keto. I was at a 6.9, and after I lost all that weight, my A1C went down to 5.3. I haven't tested it this year, so I don't know where I'm at, but I know I probably went back up because of the weight gain, the 15 pounds, as well as all the Corona snacks that have been plaguing me. So these are really great tools. Yes, this is an investment. So this little packet, Keto Mojo, you can order it directly from their site. It's $49. And then these come with it, but once you run out, you have to reorder them. And that's also probably like $50 for 100 of the strips. So those are some of my favorite tools. So if you want to join me in this journey, I'm going to document it. Go ahead and try to get that. Get the scale, get a food scale. The scale I recommend is Renpho, RENPHO on Amazon for $20. It's a Bluetooth scale. It's a smart scale. And there's an app that really helps you to keep yourself accountable. It tracks pretty much everything. So those are things that I would say this week, work on getting your tools together. Now, one of the things, what about caffeine? What about coffee? I am not a coffee drinker. Like I said, I'm from Jamaica. Jamaica is very famous for coffee. but I'm not a coffee person. I personally love tea. So instead of coffee, I do tea. Caffeine is actually very good for keto. I can't really explain all the science behind it, but it's good for keto, and it helps with ketone production. So even though I'm not a coffee person, I drink a lot of green tea. I have all kinds of flavored green teas that I use, and that's really, really helpful. So both coffee and tea are helpful in keto because it helps to produce ketones. The first step, or the first week that you're doing keto, so if you're going to start next week, these are things you should keep in mind. Because we're trying to transition from being carb burners to fat burners, you want to up your ratio of fats, okay? You want to eat more fats than you do protein. So you want to maybe stick to a 3-to-1 ratio. A 3-to-1 ratio in terms of grams. So for every gram of protein you eat, try to do 3 grams of fat. That's only for the first week because you want to start priming your system to getting used to burning fats instead of burning carbs. So once you do that, you just back off the second week and go to a moderate level. Next week is where I really will get into how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats should you have. Yeah, I'll do that next week. I think that would be just way too much for you guys. I just wanted you to get like an idea of how keto works. The other thing, that I missed about the benefits of keto. If you have an inflammatory disease or an inflammatory condition, any kind of autoimmune issues, keto is fantastic because keto is something that reduces inflammation. Okay. And anytime you have an autoimmune condition and you reduce inflammation, you're immediately going to see benefits from that. So that's one of the things when you're thinking about this first week, when you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to be doing more fats than proteins. You also want to make sure, at least for the first week, that you stay off of any type of inflammatory foods. So for example, I would recommend not doing any dairy at all during this period. If you need milk, do almond milk instead, and certainly stay off the cheese. This will really make your transition into ketosis that much easier and better. Also, again, this is going to help you stabilize your blood sugar levels. So you want to stay off anything that would cause spikes in your blood sugar. So the first week is very, very important. So that's the good side of the first week. The bad side, or the downside of the first week, you might have heard about something called the keto flu, where people just feel terrible. And most people actually quit keto during the first week. So what are some things that can help you maintain ketogenic lifestyle during the first week? And to combat the keto flu. So the keto flu is basically you just feel crappy. You don't have the flu. You don't have a fever. You don't have Rona. It's nothing like that. But you do experience feelings of lethargy. You just have that fatigue, just like, you just feel so tired. And the reason is, remember, you have drastically reduced your carbs and you're still in the process of getting your body used to the transition of running on fats instead of carbs. So your carbs are low. So of course, you're not going to feel that great. Your body's probably going to experience some withdrawal symptoms. Remember also that carbs store a lot of water with them. So the first week, if you can make it through, I promise you, the first week, you're going to see the biggest results because carbs hold a lot of water. And when you reduce your carbs, you are going to lose a lot of water weight. For me, generally, I'm very fortunate. The first week, I'll probably drop easily 8 to 10 pounds of water weight just because that's just how my body operates. So I will see a quick response immediately once I drop those carbs. Carbs for me, they just blow me up. They literally just blow me up. But the thing is, when you're losing that amount of water, you also lose your electrolytes. So in order to combat the keto flu, you're going to want to make sure that you're adding salt or magnesium into your diet. So in your water, you might want to just add some pink Himalayan salt, sea salt. Those things will help, and to keep an eye out for magnesium electrolytes. Next week, I'll talk about supplements, and magnesium will definitely be one of them. But the keto flu is real, but there are definitely ways that you can get around it. And that's really keeping track of your electrolytes and also making sure that you have enough fats in your system. That's why I talked about focusing more on your fats the first week that you're in keto, because once you reduce those carbs, you won't have carbs as a way to fuel your body. So the keto flu is real, but there are definitely ways to make the transition smoother. Working out. Yeah, you should definitely work out while you're on keto just the same. A friend of mine that was actually my roommate when I was in Ecuador last November, Laura, I'm not sure if she's on. She's amazing. She's done keto for 3-4 years and she runs marathons. Yep. She's amazing. But working out, but the first week, remember, again, use wisdom. Your body's just transitioning. So you want to do easy cardio, just walk. You don't have to do anything crazy. Literally take it easy. Your body's already adjusting. So you don't need to push your body super, super hard. Then you can kind of gradually get back into your regular workout routine, and you will start to see a major difference when you combine the ketogenic lifestyle with working out. But definitely just make sure that you don't overdo it in the first few weeks. I think I said it earlier, but all that weight that I lost, I didn't exercise one day. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. During that time was a very difficult time for me. I lost my personal trainer that I worked out with for like 13 years. I worked out with him. So I really wasn't working out. I really focused on the ketogenic lifestyle and lost that 36 pounds. So the working out really isn't necessary. My body was burning the fat that was already there. So just take it easy. This time around, because I'm much more familiar with the ketogenic lifestyle, and I've started walking with my Fitbit, which you guys see I do 5 miles a day on my Fitbit. So this actually is another accountability tool. I love it. Again, since about almost 3 weeks, I have not gone out and walked, but I'm going to get my butt in gear and I'm going to start walking again. And this should magnify my results. Another thing about working out is it's best to work out fasted. So for example, you will produce more ketones or burn more fat when you work out in a fasted state. So for example, for me, I prefer working out in the mornings, meaning I like to go and do my 5 miles in the morning. I do not eat breakfast. I drink a little detox drink and some water, and that's it. I don't do anything else until I come back. So my body was already in a fasted state because I ate my last meal the day before, and I did not eat again before I started walking. So because my body has already depleted the carbs that were there, guess what it's forced to do when I'm working out? It is really forced to burn the fat that is in my body. So working out fasted in a fasted state, it's an amazing way to get some extra fat burning going on. I saw some comments about bulletproof coffee. Yes, that is a thing. Again, I'm not a coffee person, but you can check the comments. Basically, bulletproof coffee or tea is when you add butter, ghee, coconut oil, MCT oils into your coffee or your tea. So when I heard about it, I was like, that sounds kind of weird. It really sounded kind of weird to me. But let me tell you something, guys. This wasn't coffee, but I tried it with my tea. I use Kerrygold butter. So there is a thing. Please do not buy fake butter. Buy the real butter. Kerrygold brand. It's an Irish butter. Man, that butter, it is so good. I will never buy any other butter ever, ever again in my life. It's so good. So I tried it. I literally made some tea. I put the butter in there, maybe a half a tablespoon or something. I don't even remember. But I would put it in there, heat it up, mix it up, and drink it. And I'm telling you, it actually tastes so good. And it's so filling because remember, fats are filling. So while you're doing keto, you're going to find that you're eating less. So your stomach is going to shrink because the fats keep you more satiated and you're eating less. So if you have never tried bulletproof coffee, you can add a bunch of stuff in there and it just tastes really, really good. I'm not a coffee person. You can have add heavy cream. That's keto friendly, not the fat-free version, of course. But it's really good. So if you want to try adding a little butter, oil, I also did coconut oil in there. And those things taste really good. And if you drink that in the mornings, that's a meal replacement right there. And it is absolutely delicious. So it sounds weird, but it actually tastes good. If anyone that's watching, you do bulletproof coffee and you want to drop some information in the chat, definitely go ahead and do that. Natalie says coffee, heavy cream, and Torani sugar-free syrup. Natasha said, this is my coffee go-to since there's practically no bottled juice to drink. LOL. Yeah, so bulletproof coffee, it's a thing and it's great. Like in the morning, that thing will fuel you. You won't even, probably till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you won't feel hungry. And I have proven that when I have my bulletproof tea, I'm not hungry. There's no need to snack. I literally can work throughout the morning and then in the afternoon, I can eat a small lunch. So I already talked about how to measure your ketone levels. Next week, I'll talk about the optimal ketone levels. So what should the numbers look like? We'll get into that next week. But the idea is I want you to have something to hold you accountable. If you're really serious about this, you need to have something to measure. Maybe you're not as crazy as me and you don't want to do the prick thing. That's okay. At least get those urine test strips. They're very cheap, like $5 for like 50. Yeah, there's 50 of them that come in there. And at least use that to kind of get started. Another thing is be on the lookout for sugar, y'all. Let me tell you, when I got into keto, I started reading every label and I was so shocked to see sugar in certain things. It's like sugar is freaking everywhere. It is crazy. It's insane. So just make sure that you're reading everything that you eat to make sure there's no sugar content. Sometimes they call sugar something different. So you want to be on the lookout for that too. But sweeteners. So what's a yes and what's a no? Monk fruit. I did not know anything about monk fruit before I started keto. Now I don't use anything else. Okay, monk fruit, they come in these little packets. It's in a orange box. And you can't tell, to me, I can't tell the difference between that and sugar. Like, I mean, brown sugar or sugar. And I don't have an aftertaste. So try monk fruit. It's fantastic and it's perfect for keto. Stevia, yes, you can also use stevia. That is a very good sweetener to use. Splenda, that's a big no-no. It does have carbs in there. Equal in the blue packet. I don't think it's healthy, but it is permissible on keto. So most diet sodas use the ingredients that's in Equal. And so diet sodas are permitted on keto. Should you be doing them? Probably not, because they're just not healthy. But they are permissible. Erythritol, I like me some erythritol. I never knew what erythritol was, but when I go to my pantry in a few minutes, you guys will see the magic that is erythritol. It is so good. For those of you like myself that have a little bit of a sweet tooth. Other big no-nos, and these should be like, duh, you can't. You cannot have regular sugar, brown sugar. I don't care if it's sugar cane right off of the plantation. You cannot have that, okay? Agave, I love agave. That's a no-no. Honey, love honey. That's a no-no. And of course, anything that has fructose, particularly high fructose corn syrup, that's in so many things. It's horrible. Those are big no-nos. So if you want to sweeten stuff, you absolutely can. You just need a good sweetener like monk fruit or stevia or equal. Okay. The best veggies for keto would be asparagus. It's very low carb. You could eat a ton of asparagus. And the nice thing too about asparagus is that it has a lot of prebiotic bacteria. So that's really, really helpful in protecting your gut lining and fighting inflammation. So if you don't have a probiotic, you should, I'll talk about the probiotic and prebiotic in the supplements next week, but that's a good thing. And asparagus has the prebiotics naturally. Bok choy and cabbage help flush out the water. Remember, we said carbs have a lot of water. So bok choy and cabbage, they help flush out the water and they help to keep you full and feeling satiated. So those are the top 3 veggies that are great on keto. When I go down the grocery list, I will give you some more ones as well. Broccoli is good too, but it does have some carbs and it does have some sugars. So you want to be careful with broccoli, but broccoli, it's a great one as well. What about alcohol? So alcohol is permitted on keto, but it depends on the type. So for example, the thing about alcohol, remember when I first started, I told you that the liver is what produces the ketones, right? So we need to keep our liver clean. So you need to do liver detoxes and things like that so that your liver is running at its prime so that it can really produce the ketones. But alcohol affects the liver. So whenever alcohol hits your liver, hits your body, your liver is going to prioritize metabolizing the alcohol first. So instead of using your body fat to produce ketones, it's going to say, okay, hold on. I see something more serious. Let me go over and deal with the alcohol. And that can kick you out of ketosis. Okay. So because your body has now moved to focus on the alcohol and processing out the alcohol, it's not producing the ketones that you need. So it's going to kick you out of ketosis for a temporary time. It's not a long time. So you could probably get back into ketosis pretty quickly, but it will kick you out. And again, it depends on what you've drunk and how much. So there are certain alcohols that are better. So like vodka, gin, and thank you, Jesus, tequila. Okay, those are permissible on keto. So if you want to make drinks with those kind of things, you can. You absolutely can because those are easier on the liver. But beer is a no-go. Certain wines are no-goes like white wines, sweet wines. I love Moscato, that's out. But very, very dry red wine in moderation is also permitted on keto. Fruits. So like I said before, fruits are permitted, but berries. So if it's not a blackberry, a raspberry, a blueberry, or a strawberry, you can't have it. So that's why when I go to Jamaica and I see mangoes, whew, I just have to step on out of keto for a minute and go back. But yeah, those, any other types of fruits, they're just way too high in sugars and carbs to keep you in a state of ketosis. So you definitely want to limit it. And even if you have these berries, you want to have a smaller serving, maybe a quarter of a cup. And again, with your handy dandy scale, food scale, you can measure those things out. I think the best the biggest idea to keep is that you need to get enough fats. So one of the biggest lessons that I learned last year is how the heck do I get in my fats? Because I could see that, okay, proteins is easy for me. I love meat. So I cook, I have my meat, throw in some veggies. Okay, that's fine. And I don't have a whole bunch of carbs. But how do you get in the fats? Because remember, fats has to be the primary thing that you eat. So I went and started adding mayo to certain things. Mayo became my friend. There is a brand called Chosen Foods, and they have a keto specific mayo. I will never buy another type of mayo ever again because it's so damn good. It is absolutely delicious. So, for example, in the morning, if I want breakfast, I'll boil 2 eggs, and then I'll put a dollop of mayo on it to get some fats in, along with that protein. You can also use coconut oil to put on things or cook with the oils. You can use things like almond butter, but you really have to focus on getting in the fats. You can do fat bombs. I know people go crazy making recipes and stuff like that. I'm not a recipe person. I know how to cook. I know what I like. I don't need to really experiment, and because that sometimes can be like a deterrent. Um, People are going to try to profit off of this and sell you all these keto recipe books and this and that. I mean, I have keto recipe books. Have I used them? Nope. I make my own stuff. But if you're a recipe person, it might be helpful. I just don't have time to go and think about making this and that. I'd rather just make what I like, keep it simple. But it can be challenging to get in your fats. But the mayo helped me a lot. That was a game changer. And also the bulletproof tea or coffee, because you can definitely get fats in that way as well. So that is the trick with keto. It's not just getting rid of the carbs or drastically reducing the carbs. You have to really increase your fats. That is the biggest piece of advice that I have. You can snack on keto. Nuts are good. Like the best types of nuts are macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts, walnuts, pecans. Those are great in moderation. You can't, I'm telling myself this, you can't eat the whole bag or box of the nuts that you buy, right? It's in moderation. Almonds are my favorite, and cashews, but cashews definitely, they're highly inflammatory. So they're a big no-no for me, but I love cashews. So unfortunately, that's one of the things that I have to give up. Almonds in moderation. I'll show you the almonds that I use, and I literally count out how much is in a serving to make sure I don't go crazy. I do see some questions or comments coming in. Miss Lourdes says her doctor gave her the meter to check her glucose level. Yes, it's very important to keep checking. That way and you hold yourself accountable. Miss Avril's asking about carrots. Nope, carrots are too sweet, my dear. Very sorry. Carrots are way too sweet for keto. So I don't do any carrots on keto. So now, Brianna, you're up. So now the last part of the program, thanks for hanging in there with me. I am going to show you how I have organized my pantry and just some items that would be helpful. So if you will hang on in there, we are going to transition. I don't have the ideal setup yet of moving around because this is done on my computer. So my daughter is going to help me to move to the pantry so that I can show you guys what we're doing. So Brianna, you can actually go over there. I'll unplug this stuff. I'll unplug this. We're still here, guys. They can't see anything. That's the point. in transition. We're in transition. Hey, Tatiana. Hey, Miss Nancy. Hey, Miss Magali. So we're heading over to my pantry. You can't see anything because we're literally moving with the camera. And I am going to show you what I've done. We're trying to get a good show here. Okay. So Brianna, can you see? I'm back. Okay, so I have literally reorganized my pantry. Can y'all see? Can you see, Brianna? Okay, so let me start with this area of the pantry. This shelf, first of all, I don't even know why we have these. A few weeks ago during Corona, we decided, oh, we want cereal. So we brought these crappy cereals. The only reason I haven't packed them up is because they're open. So those are there, whatever. And we have my aunt and uncle come and visit. They always buy lots of coffee. So we still have lots of leftover coffee. And like I said, I'm a big tea person. So we have boxes and boxes of teas. This is a chai tea, but peppermint flavored. This section right here, this is Brianna's shelf. We have some of Steven's items there. These are some protein shakes that he does before working out. Brianna loves her, what do you call it? Oatmeal. Oatmeal is not permissible on keto, so I kept it in here to make sure that they lose the competition next week. So she might be tempted to eat oatmeal. Instead of flour for certain recipes, almond flour is permissible. So we use almond flour. There's some flaxseed. You can use flaxseed in your recipes as well. And the Red Mill brand is very, very good. These are some other protein powders that we use and things for smoothies. This section right here is, like I said, we got kind of obsessed with coffee and tea. I have all kinds of teas here, some Indian teas. I love the Yogi brand of tea. And like I said, I love green tea. So here is some. These teas I got from the Bahamas, soursop, tamarindo, all different types, fever grass. But I love the Yogi brand of tea. So I drink a lot of detox teas. Remember, I told you that the liver is the most important organ when it comes to producing ketones. So I try to drink these teas every day in order to keep my liver going. This is the monk fruit that I mentioned. So this is how they come. They come in packs of 40, monk fruit in the raw. This is a fantastic sweetener. It's keto-friendly, non-GMO, organic, the whole 9 yards. I also have stevia and monk fruit. So that's another one that is pretty good. And here we have I have some people that are obsessed with coffee, who shall be named. These are some teas, but we have some coffee stuff, some Jamaican coffee here, Blue Mountain coffee, and Blue Mountain Peak. Okay, so let me show you this area right here. Can they see? Okay, so this is my keto corner, okay? This is where I keep most of my keto snacks. This is the ghee that I was telling you about. Ghee is basically the butter, clarified butter. You could put that in your, to cook with or anything that requires butter. This is some almond butter. We're going to try to see if we can find some maybe recipes, but really using those for fat bombs. Seaweed is great for you. So these are some little snacks that I have. Slim Fast has produced its own line of ketogenic snacks. This is a fat bomb. If you like Reese's peanut butter cup, this is great. It tastes good. I'm not a big peanut butter fan, but this tastes really good. And the nice thing about it is there's no sugar added, and it only has 2 grams of net carbs. So this is such a great snack. You can have one a day. And they even have like a keto shake. So if you want like something, a meal replacement, This is pretty cool, and it's only one net carb. So, some brands are capitalizing on keto. Me, this isn't really keto, but I am obsessed with gum. So I keep lots of gum. Okay, remember when I was telling you about the erythritol? These I discovered during my keto journey. These are coconut chocolate candies. Oh my sweet Jesus. They taste so good. They're like almond, they're like mounds. So if you like mounds, these are 10 times better than mounds. The sweetener is erythritol. And you can have 2 pieces of these, and the total carbs is so low. I can't see. Very, very low carb. So you can have 2 of these and not get kicked out of ketosis. So if you have a craving or whatnot, you can go ahead and use those. This is another one, similar if you like pecans and caramel. This one's made with stevia extract. They're really good. So I just keep these on lock for when I really have a carb craving. Now, remember I told you I love almonds? I have found these almonds. I like salt and vinegar, and they are so yummy. So I love salt and vinegar chips. So instead of salt and vinegar chips, I use these salt and vinegar almonds. They taste delicious. They are only about 2 grams of carbs, which is fantastic. And each servings is about 28 nuts. So you can have 28 of these nuts throughout the day, and it only counts as 2 grams of carbs. And remember, maximum carbs for the day is 30 grams. So having 2 of this is not bad. I also have other types of nuts. I have walnuts, pecans, and these are the Brazil nuts. So anytime you want little snacks, you can definitely have snacks that are good for you. This is also something that I discovered through my keto journey, Zone Perfect Keto. Check out this brand. I really, really like them. This has the perfect keto formula, which is this protein shake is made up of 75% fats, high fats, 20% protein, and 5% carbs. So this flavor is pineapple coconut. So to me, this tastes like I'm having a pina colada. So it reminds me of being on the islands or on a cruise. But these are perfect meal replacement. If you're sick of drinking water, this is a perfect real meal replacement. They have different flavors. Steven wanted to try some different flavors. So this one is chocolate marshmallow. I'm not drinking it. I'm not a big chocolate drink person, but there are lots of different flavors. My favorite just happens to be the pineapple coconut. This is definitely not keto. This is just for cooking purposes. This is my husband. He likes to make plantains. Onions are not keto friendly. So you can cook with them, but don't eat the onions. These are sweet onions, especially. So definitely you don't want to do that. Keto, you need lots of water. So we've stocked up on water. Brianna wanted to try these Zephyr Hills sparkling waters. So these have different flavors if you just get tired and bored of just plain water. So keto is a journey. I can't tell you what's good for you. You have to kind of experiment and see what works best for you. This is all trial and error stuff. Okay. This is probably where you're going to, at least for the beginning, spend a good chunk of your money. So in your fats and your oils. These are the only oils that I cook with or that I purchase, okay? So no canola oil, no corn oil, no vegetable oil, nothing like that, okay? I've completely stopped using them. They're terrible for your body. They're very unhealthy. This is the way to go. So, of course, I went to BJ's yesterday, so We have a bunch of olive oils. Try to get extra virgin where you can. Also, coconut oil is fantastic to cook with. We cook with it all the time. It's best to get the extra virgin one again. So it can be an investment, but that will last us a long time. Out of all of this, my favorite oil has become avocado oil. Publix brand is pretty good, and this is the BJ's brand. Avocado oil is really, really fantastic. This is what I primarily like to cook with, especially if you're frying something. MCT oil. These are medium chain triglycerides coming from coconut. This really blends very well with coffees and shakes and teas. It's vegan, dairy-free, and keto-friendly. And this will help you to produce ketones. So this is, I don't cook with this. This is just to add as an enhancement to any drinks that I'm having. Don't look at this shelf. This is our shelf that still needs some work. This is our carbs, you know, whatever. Anyway, and of course, yesterday at BJ's, I did not see that Steven put these daggone Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits mix into the cart. So of course we're not throwing that out. So I guess he'll get kicked out of ketosis. This is another shelf that's interesting. These are very good. So canned fruits are very good on keto. Pink salmon is very good. So I bought a pack of that. We have here tuna, also very good for keto. Coconut milk, because you can use this to cook. This is good fat, the coconut milk. Also, I like sardines. So sardines are very, very good on keto. Sardines, mackerels, very good on keto. Best to get this one. I like Brunswick brand. They didn't have it in, in BJ. So I ended up getting some random brand that I'm going to try. I don't know. We'll see. And of course, you all know from last week that I like my cabbage and corned beef. So corned beef, it's meat. And going along with the cabbage, I can still make my Jamaican meal. It doesn't affect anything. So I kind of stocked up on that. Another thing that's good in keto, bone broth. It's fantastic. This is one that I have discovered through a friend of mine, Joanne. They have lots of different flavors, but also regular chicken broth is good. And beef flavored broth, very, very good on keto if you want like some soup or something like that. The tahini that I mentioned, that's another fat that's great that you can add to your foods as well. So just wanted to kind of give you an overview of how to prepare your pantry for keto. Next week, I will get into a specific shopping list and what are some good items to purchase. But that's kind of pretty much it. I mean, that was a lot of information. It was really a lot of information, but I am really excited to go on this ketogenic journey again. I feel terrible that I kind of fell off the wagon, but sometimes these things happen. But the most important thing is when we fall down, we get back up again. So if you have also fallen off the wagon and you're looking for a way to get back on the ball, I hope that this introduction to the ketogenic lifestyle is helpful. And if you've missed any part of it, you can certainly go back and listen to it. Next week, I'm going to kind of go into more specifics on it. Let me show them something, Brianna. The avocado. Yeah, that's kind of hard to see. But avocados, they are a huge part of keto. Huge part of keto. I am not an avocado person, but I am trying my best to incorporate avocado into my meals. Before I log out, let me just see if anyone has any questions. Hey, First Lady. Hey, Joanne. Where do I buy the Keto Zone, Miss Avro? I got them at Publix, and then I started watching them or buying them at Amazon. So I'm about to drop 40 pounds, y'all. Let's see how long it takes me. I hope this little program will kind of help to keep me accountable and to kind of teach you guys how to do the keto. It's really not that hard, and it's very, very, very effective. So hopefully you guys will join me into the keto journey. I can't wait to see myself and, many of you in the coming weeks and how it is. If you have any questions while you're going through the journey, of course, contact me and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. But, last year I did almost 40 pounds. So I'm looking to do the same thing this year. More importantly, I'm looking to stay out of the doctor's office because I refuse to get diabetes. This is a choice that I'm making to go back to the ketogenic lifestyle because I have a long life to live and I would like to not have the complications of a chronic health issues to add to that. So that's my motivation for doing keto. Next week, we'll get deeper. We'll do our shopping list. We'll talk supplements, and I'll help you set up your macros so you can track how much you're actually supposed to be eating, how much fats, how much proteins, how much carbs, and that kind of thing. But let's do this, y'all. I will see you next week. Take care.